Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we're going to discuss about some cleanup on my clay pots. Now, as much as I love them and I praise them, they do have drawbacks. Nothing is perfect. And the main drawback with clay pots is that you will always have some deposits on them accumulating in time. They can be algae, they can be some salts, and it's a good idea to perform some cleanup from time to time. Now, I've taken a serious case. Not all my pots look like this. I think this is the worst. Some of my clay pots perform a little different than others, but since this is a worst case, it's a good example to use. So first thing you will need is a toothbrush. Next, you will need some bleach and then some rubber gloves. When working with bleach, it is always a good idea to protect your hands. This stuff seriously attacks your skin. So the first thing that I want to clean is actually not the pot, it is the tray. Because I'm using ceramics from time to time, I do have a little bit of dust. In time, this will not deposit as much anymore. And if you do a proper rinsing when you use ceramics, you will not have as much buildup. But in some of my dishes, I do have some buildup. So with this, I'm gonna go to the sink. Now for the trays, you can use a sort of a detergent. I really don't have to because this residue comes off really fast. And I'll show you what I mean. It's just a little bit of dust. But if you do want to disinfect these trays, you can totally use some alcohol or a cleaning solution. And pretty much my tray is done. Okay, next is the pot. You'd be tempted to use hydrogen peroxide for these algae, right? No need to. They come right off with the toothbrush. We use hydrogen peroxide on the medium, as I will show you, because you cannot really scrub with the toothbrush on the medium. You'll move it around. But on the outside of the pot, you really don't need to use hydrogen peroxide. Save it up, all is well. So again, under the sink, I'm just gonna brush the outside of the pot. It's a little bit hard to do on camera, so I'll speed up the process and come back when I'm done. Okay, so my pot is all cleaned up right now. Let's take care of the algae on top of the ceramics. I showed you this in a previous video, but I'm gonna do it again. I'm using hydrogen peroxide 3%, which is safe for the vast majority of orchids. And I'm just spraying on top of the ceramics. Let it fizz a little bit, and then rinse it off again at the sink. Okay, it's starting to look a little better. You will always have those deposits that simply refuse to come off. So if you have a layer on top that you really don't like, you can just take the top layer, give it a boil, and that should take care of the problem. You can place it back or actually change the top of the medium. I'm not all that bothered by algae. I actually dreamed of having a mat of algae on top of my pots. I don't know how good that will look, but I will try out with a few orchids. So algae don't really bother me that much, but if they would, I would have a problem with ceramics. So keep in mind, if this is something that might bother you, the fact that you will have some algae on top, just rethink your decision. What does bother me though is the accumulation of salt and of algae on the outside of my pot. Luckily, as you see, it's really easy to rinse. Now this toothbrush, if we want to reuse it, we need to sterilize it. And this is where bleach comes in. So I poured some bleach into this glass here, and I'm gonna sterilize my toothbrush with bleach. After I rinse it from debris and algae and all of that, it's better to eliminate the solids. I'm just gonna pluck it in, go put my orchid in its place, leave this toothbrush for about a minute in bleach, and after I'm done, I'm just gonna take it out, go to the sink, and give it a really good rinse. You wanna rinse this very well because bleach at that concentration can seriously affect orchids. It's gonna get sucked in by the clay pots. It's not what you want. So my toothbrush is seriously rinsed now, and it's ready for another use. Of course, you can change your gloves or spray some alcohol or dip your fingers with the gloves in the bleach and then rinse it out very well. But always keep in mind, you need gloves when working with bleach. Now, if you don't like bleach and you want to use a different disinfectant, you can use strong alcohol, but it's not as good as bleach. Bleach is the strongest substance you can use. It has a wide range of effectiveness for virus, fungi, bacteria, all of that. So pretty much it kills everything, and that's why I'm using bleach. And it's fairly inexpensive. You just need to be careful with it. So now I'm ready to get another orchid, repeat the process, and this is how I keep my clay pots cleaned. Now, what we did today was clean some deposits and some algae. But there are cases where you will not be able to do such a good job. For example, this. I have a little bit of deposit, but I also have a bit of staining here. Clay pots are bound to get stained. It doesn't really affect plants all that much, and it's not a good idea to soak the pot with the orchid inside in vinegar to remove them. I wouldn't play that much with vinegar because it's very acidic. It is too close to the roots. That is that. All you can do is just scrub them as best as you can. And I don't know if you like the look. I personally do. It looks vintage. then all the more better. If you don't like the look, maybe plastic pots are better for you. So as you can see, there is a little bit of a hassle with clay pots as well. You kind of need to maintain them if you want to keep them pretty and if you want to keep that ventilation going. So if you are undecided what to use, clay pots or plastic pots, now you know what you kind of need to do with clay pots, and you need to weigh the benefits with the cons. And if the balance goes in favor of the benefits, everything is okay. If not, just stick to a different type of pot. Alrighty guys, thank you for watching this video. I know some of you requested this topic and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope this will come in handy if you ever need to clean your clay pots. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos and plants videos. And I'll see you all next time. Bye! The Millennium Magic is really playing with my feelings. So I discovered she has this little bumpy formation here that's splitting its sheaths. I'm not keeping my hopes high. This fooled me in the past as well. But still, it would be so cool to have some black flowers this year.